Folks, welcome to your Monday episode of So Bad It's Good. This is your pal Ryan. How the heck is everybody doing? We made it out of January. Welcome to February. Let's hope this is a better month. I'm hoping. Yeah, here's to hoping. I just got finished watching the Grammys, which was nearly 4 hours long. I saved a little on the DVR. Like I let it record, and then I started watching like an hour into it because I was recording with Sophie. And then I fast forwarded through the commercials. Then I had to watch it live with the commercials. There was actually one commercial that was just, I think it was MasterCard, that it was just, they just played Lady Gaga's new song and video, which was pretty intense and fun. But I was like, wow, this is the first time I've seen an actual music video on television in so long. I'm looking at you, MTV. MTV, man, I hate to be all old man shaking fist at the sky, but happy Monday. I hate that MTV. Like, God, we once had music videos and you would be turned on to new artists, but I don't know, maybe that's just Spotify nowadays. But that was interesting. We're going to go into a Grammys recap here in a second. Also, you can tell if you're watching this on YouTube and not just listening, I am wearing my Salt Lake City bonnet because I was so inspired some of the fashion looks at the Grammys. I figured why not throw my hat in the fashion ring? So I am wearing my blue bonnet, inspired by the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City season 4 episode where they shaked a jar rapidly to create buttermilk. So we had the Grammys tonight, and of course, the fires in Los Angeles. I am so happy to report that they have all been contained. Amazing. We're getting more rain this week. That's also amazing. But obviously, how do you have an award show when there is so much tragedy in the place that you're throwing it? But I thought they did a really fine job at walking that line. They were also getting donations throughout the night. There was a QR code, and people in the audience, I believe, were donating as well. And I think at one point in the ceremony, they had already raised $7 million. So that's great. I hope it goes to all the right places. But they opened the Grammys in a great way. This band Dawes that I like, they've been around for a while. Well, one of the band members, they lost their home in the fires out here. So they had Dawes performing, and they had like an all-star band, John Legend, Sheryl Crow. You also had St. Vincent playing. You had Brittany Howard, who I love. From Alabama Shakes. Brad Paisley was out there, and they did a rendition of Randy Newman's I Love LA. I love LA. We love it. By the way, this is a horrible fact to celebrate the Kardashians coming back to television this week. Do you remember the one episode where it flashed back to Kris Jenner and the video she made for her friends in the 80s? I love my friends. I love it. And then Kris Jenner made a video in the 80s. You guys got to go. If you haven't seen it, you got to look it up on YouTube. Just type in like Kris Jenner, I love my friends, and the music video should pop up. I think there was an episode of the Kardashians or Keeping Up with the Kardashians where they recreated the music video. Regardless, it's an amazing Randy Newman song. Very funny. But I love Randy Newman. But they did this song to open the show. I thought it was great. Throughout the night, they threw so much praise on the firefighters, which I thought was so needed, and all of the heroes. Trevor Noah was the host. I think he did a solid job. He's not not out there just doing hard jokes, but he keeps it lively, very respectful. He gets in laughs here and there. It's very interesting with the Grammys that I believe the last couple of years they've switched it to a format where it's like dining tables, so you can see all the stars at these little tables. So the stages are in multiple different areas, so you'll see like Taylor Swift and Jack Antonoff in the background talking with Margaret Qualley. Sometimes you're just more like focused on the background than the actual person talking on the stage. We had Cynthia Erivo there, who obviously the star of Wicked. She was like sitting next to Taylor Swift at one point, which I thought was fun. Billie Eilish was there with Phineas, performed Birds of a Feather. That was great. Sabrina Carpenter did a medley of her hits. Great. Best rap album went to Doechii. If you haven't heard Alligator Bites Never Heal by Doechii, it is such a great album. So fun. I mean, she is one of the, I don't know, I just think she's great. I'm so happy that she won for Best Rap Album. But there were only just a handful of awards presented in this televised ceremony. Most of them were presented beforehand. So that was interesting. I don't know. I just kind of kept looking in the audience at all the stars and seeing what they were doing and how much pressure you would feel if you were one of those stars, knowing that people are just watching you. And there's going to probably be tons of lip sync videos or lip reading videos on TikTok of like, okay. And then Taylor Swift leaned over to Margaret Qualley and said, I thought you deserved a Best Actress nomination and not Demi Moore. Like, I feel like I'm scared we're going to see those videos, which you see all the time now on TikTok. Best Pop Vocal Album went to Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter. I thought that's great. I mean, it really is a perfect pop album. We had Olivia Rodrigo introducing Chappell Roan. She had an amazing performance. Taylor Swift returned to her country roots to present Best Country Album, and Best Country Album went to Beyonce for Cowboy Carter. Remember, Taylor Swift accepted, she said in the ceremony, she accepted the Best Country Album Grammy nearly 15 years ago, which I thought was an interesting piece of history. So it was great to see Taylor present that to Beyonce. It was so funny. My dad was texting me and he goes, Beyonce made a country album? Like, I always forget some people just don't follow pop culture and music. He was like, wait. And I was like, yeah, it's called Cowboy Carter. You should listen to it, Dad. I think you would probably dig it. So she won that. Chappell did her hits. Beyonce did seem stunned by her win. And I was sorry. I'm also thinking, because me and Sophie do talk about some of the red carpet fashions in it, because we had seen some of the red carpet, but not the show yet. But there were a couple of moments I saw while the ceremony was happening that happened beforehand. And these two Associated Press producers, or talking interviewers, were on the red carpet, and they were interviewing Babyface. And Babyface, kind of a legend in the music industry. And they're talking to him, asking him questions, and then Chappell Roan comes behind him, and they literally you could just tell they do not want to talk to Babyface anymore. And Babyface turns around and looks at Chappell Roan, and he's like, oh, okay, you don't want to do this anymore? And gets ushered off. And they're like, Chappell. It was so sad and funny at the same time, but mainly sad, because it's just Chappell Roan, obviously very talented, but also so of the moment. And just imagine you're somebody like Babyface that has spent his entire life in the music industry and then just getting ushered off for the hot new thing. I don't know. That clip was wild. So crazy. You had a bunch of best new artists performing, like Benson Boone, doing his backflip thing, Teddy Swim, Shabuzi, Ray. You had that. And then best new artist, Chappell Roan won it. And I think she gave a great speech, and also talked about record labels not taking care of artists and saying, hey, we're here for you, record labels, but are you there? Do you have our backs? And also spoke to the importance of being gay in her life. And I thought, what an important person. If you were young, struggling with your sexuality, she would be somebody that I would imagine you would kind of look up to. So I thought that was a really powerful speech. But she was wearing a huge dunce cap. It looked like a very big, pointy cap. They also did a montage of the wildfire devastation in Los Angeles, which was so sad. It was very intense, some of these things. Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga, they did their duet together. And they also won a Grammy for their duet. But they also performed California Dreamin', which is an iconic California song by the Mamas and Papas. And they sang that. Now, Grammys had a huge surprise. I don't know if you remember this. In 2020, The Weeknd, one of the most popular musical artists out there, slammed the Grammys, calling them corrupt because he had landed 0 nominations for his album for that year, and it was like a mega hit album. Well, the Recording Academy CEO, Harvey Mason Jr., mentioned this criticism and said, with that in mind, on a truly special night, what better way to bring us together than this next artist, someone who has seen the work the Academy has put in, finally revealing The Weeknd. And so this was a moment to say, hey, the Grammys have changed. We've gotten better. Our policies are much better than when you were complaining about it in 2020. And The Weeknd, who has a stadium tour that was announced, not announced during the show, but it was promoted during the show. The Weeknd came out for a surprise performance. So that happened, which was, I think, an exciting moment. Lady Gaga, I was telling you about that commercial. It was for her new song Abracadabra, which dropped on streaming, and you can watch the music video now. I thought it was a fun song. It kind of is a throwback, I think, to the it didn't remind me of like the musically of Poker Face, but it is in that Lady Gaga kind of earlier era. So I hope people dig it. It seemed like a really fun song, and the video was very, very intense. Shakira won, she had a whole special award, best Latin pop album. She won, and J-Lo presented the award to her, and she said, "I want to dedicate this award to all my immigrant brothers and sisters in this country. You are loved, you are worth it, and I will always fight with you," which I thought was beautiful. Let's see here. What else happened? Then we had a tribute to Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones, just a musical genius. I think a lot of people know Quincy Jones from his work with Michael Jackson, but my God, this man had his hands in everything. He worked with Frank Sinatra. He worked with all of the greats. He also produced things. He did We Are the World. He also produced The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So Will Smith was kind of like one of the main speakers at this, and I thought it was not great. The music from Cynthia Erivo blew me away. Her singing, I was like, damn, I thought that was such powerful vocals from Cynthia Erivo, and also just very smart of her to be a part of this and to do that well when she is on the hunt for the Oscar win for Best Actress for Wicked. But Will Smith told this story of like, listen, when I was on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Quincy Jones once pulled me aside and said, we were at the snacks table. There's a thing called craft service where all the snacks are there for like actors and crew. And he's like, these are the snacks that you have for your, for the people that work for you on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Quincy Jones told Will Smith. And Will was like, yeah, I mean, I don't buy the food or anything. I just acted. And he's like, no, your name is on this script. You have to make sure that everybody is fed, not just the actors, the whole crew. And he's like, and he's like, even if you have to pay out of your own pocket. And Will Smith is like, well, so that's what I did. And I've tried to do that ever since, is pay out of kind of just like, I'm a hero ever since because of Quincy Jones, because I pay for food. First off, Quincy Jones was the producer. So I also thought, what a sly way for a producer to not pay for food. He was like, you do it, Will. But also it was like this weird thing of, how did this become about you, Will? I don't know. That's how I took it. I thought it was a little bit of a weird moment, but Herbie Hancock was out there playing the piano. Stevie Wonder was doing a harmonica thing that I thought was cool. Quincy Jones, you guys get into him at some point. Go into his catalog and just the people he produced. It ended kind of weird with Janelle Monáe, who I love usually, but she did Michael Jackson's "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough," which obviously is a Quincy Jones produced song, and she had the Michael thing. She had so much energy and passion, but like the vocal thing wasn't necessarily there, or at least in my opinion, it wasn't there. But it was still great. You also had Lainey Wilson with Jacob Collier on "Let the Good Times Roll," and then you did "We Are the World." And then that's when Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars got Best Pop Duo Group Performance for their hit song "Die with a Smile," and they both complimented each other. And then Lady Gaga said, I just want to say tonight that trans people are not invisible. Trans people deserve love. The queer community deserve to be lifted up. Music is love. I don't know if you are aware, but a lot of the trans rights, I think in one of Trump's executive orders, kind of got signed away. It's not recognized. So I think if you are part of that trans community or somebody that supports the trans community like I do, these messages are very, very powerful. So I thought that was kind of a great moment. And then they had the In Memoriam segment, and Chris Martin from Coldplay sang, and they opened with like some video footage of Liam Payne, which was immediately just like, just brutal. And, we lose so many amazing people each year. So that started off the In Memoriam segment. And then Record of the Year, you guys, I was shocked about this because I thought it was going to go to Beyonce Cowboy Carter, and it went to Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, which was one of the billion diss tracks against Drake, and it got Record of the Year. And I think Kendrick was really stunned. I think he kind of fumbled his way through his speech, not really expecting to win that. And the other crazy thing was that Miley Cyrus presented this, and she comes out and says, we won, Beyonce. And I think that was in regards to the Best Country album. And then but Miley just like already out on stage before she announces the nominees, and there's more nominees than just Beyonce, says, "We won, Beyonce." So you already know she's like Team Beyonce. And she's about to open the envelope, you guys, and she goes, "Even if it's not Beyonce, I'll just say Beyonce." And then she opens and it's Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. And I'm like, Miley, I love you, but man, sometimes you got to chill. It is so disrespectful to other artists that have worked so hard. And my God, I'm one of the biggest Beyonce fans, but I thought that was such a weird, cringe moment in that, like, dude, we all mostly love, I mean, I think we all love Beyonce. I hope we all love Beyonce to some degree, but I think it just takes away from the other artists, and especially Kendrick, who won. I'm just shocked that Kendrick won for the diss track. It's a great song. Like, it truly is a great song, but my God, there are so many great Kendrick. Anyways, then we had this Shakira performance, which was amazing. It was a medley of hits. She looked great. Her hips are still not lying. That was very exciting. And then Alicia Keys accepted the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award. And I thought she gave a beautiful speech for her career. And she also, in her speech, said, "Hey, DEI is not a threat, it's a gift. And the more voices, the more powerful the sound. When destructive forces try to burn us down, we rise from the ashes like a phoenix," which I thought was another great message. I thought these were all positive messages that were said in a very affirming way, and not doom and gloom, but a celebration. And I thought those were great things to hear, is that we are all better together. I mean, that's how I took that. So I was very excited about that. Song of the Year went to Not Like Us. So it's 2 in a row for Kendrick's Not Like Us. Somewhere Drake is just crying buckets. And Diana Ross presented this one. And I think Diana Ross, a legend. I mean, the Supremes, her solo career, truly a legend. Kendrick Lamar won this and got, given the award by Diana Ross, and he was like bowing to her. I mean, everybody should bow to Diana Ross. So that was really exciting as well. And then we had Charlie XCX doing a performance of 2 of her songs, and it was just like a gigantic rave on stage. Julia Fox was one of the dancers in the background, but it was a gigantic rave. I should have had my dad watch that part, and he wouldn't know what the fuck was happening. Like, what the hell? Because it's just a bunch of people on stage going buck wild. But I was like, of course, Julia Fox is there. And then as we near the end of the show, the LA County Fire Department, a lot of their, members of the LA County Fire Department came out to present Album of the Year. And by the way, these are the real heroes. I mean, these are truly, we're awarding all of these musical artists that, I think brighten our day with their music. But right here, man, these people have been fighting. It's just a great reminder and how important they are to us. Like, truly amazing that they got to be out there. And then Album of the Year, I didn't think she was going to get it at this point. Once she lost Record of the Year and Song of the Year, I was like, not looking good for Beyonce, but she finally won Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter. And Blue Ivy came up on stage with her, Beyonce's daughter. And I was like, hold on, Blue Ivy, you'll get your chance when you get an album, but this is Beyonce's moment. But I guess they're mother and daughter, so it was all fine. And listen, Beyonce you always want people that care about their work, right? Like, you don't want people that just like, oh, fuck it. I don't care about awards. I don't care. Like, Beyonce cares. Beyonce has wanted this award for many albums and has been denied for many albums. So I'm just so happy she finally had this moment. I think, and it was so exciting too to see the cutaways to the audience. Billie Eilish was crying. Lady Gaga was crying, because Beyonce is one of those artists that inspires other artists. So it was so great to see. I could have just watched more reaction shots. Of course, then you would have Meredith Marks from Salt Lake, like she did with Mary Cosby, this week's reunion, of just stone-faced at the Beyonce win. You know what? Beyonce's speech was pretty quick. I could have used, I don't want to criticize Beyonce, but I could have used a little bit more. I could have used a little bit more words out of Beyonce's mouth in regards to how much this moment meant. We saw Taylor Swift cheers Jay-Z during this moment as well. They clinked glasses. And Beyonce dedicated this Grammy to a country pioneer, to Linda Martell, who was a pioneer for Black artists in country music, which I thought was great. I just thought, man, you've waited so long for this moment. There are so many other people that I would love to hear you think and where your mind is right now. But she is now 3 more Grammys deeper, and that's bringing her total Grammys to 35. So just to put that in perspective, Ryan Bailey, have 0 Grammy Awards thus far. Beyonce, 35. So that's it. One last thing, because we do talk about the ridiculousness of certain clothing worn or not worn on the Grammys red carpet. Of course, I'm talking about the one and only Kanye West and his second wife, Bianca Censori. How can you get on worst dress lists if you are you choose not to be dressed? He's like, I will never make the worst dress list because I'm just going to be naked. Yeah, they showed up. She had like a big fur coat on and then took it off, and she was like butt ass naked with some I don't know, some nylons. It was so dumb. Me and Sophie talk about it. I think in the beginning of the episode, because it was just like sometimes you're just over the thing. Like I've seen Bianca Censori naked so many times that you're like, okay. Now, we said at the time we had gotten information that he was removed from the Grammys because he was not invited. Then I believe TMZ, about an hour and a half later after we finished recording, TMZ said he was invited. He was invited. I guess he was nominated for some award that wasn't a part of the broadcast. So he came, walked the red carpet, and then immediately left after walking the red carpet. So I don't know if that's TMZ being nice to Kanye or that's the actual story, but I wanted to update the story here because what the information we had gotten was that he was not invited and he was asked to leave. But also, if you're butt ass naked on the red carpet, you might want to be, honestly, that's wild. Go hang out with your kids. Go get some clothes on. I've seen you know what I'm talking about? Anyways, so that was the Grammys, a very long night. And then, I want to tell you what is coming up to watch this week, and then we'll get right into Sophie. Okay, we got a lot of TV coming up this week, but also I want to say I was really proud of all the episodes, or most of the episodes we did last week. We did also, every weekend we're doing the Traders recaps with Karsten Bergerson, and I'm so enjoying those. It doesn't even feel like work, and I love the Traders so much on Peacock. So if you're watching that, go check out the recap, because we also talk about, other things in terms of gameplay on these reality shows. And I just think Bergie is such a great guy, and he's I love the way his mind works. And I really and if you have friends that love the Traders and stuff, recommend that specific episode. We do them every Saturday. So check that out. But we also had Salt Lake recaps, Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recaps. We talked to two of the stars of Southern Hospitality, Maddie and Michaels. We did The Fall of Diddy. We had Lacey Mosley, Scam Goddess. We talked about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni with the Pop Apologists. Lauren, we had Sophie. We had so many episodes last week. So there is always something if you need something. And then this week on Bravo, tonight we had the Real Housewives of Potomac finale. And I didn't get to watch it yet because I was watching the Grammys. But next week is the reunion. And me and Sophie, towards the end of the episode, talk about the preview for the reunion, which looks great. We also had Married to Medicine on tonight. And then tomorrow we have the premiere of Below Deck Down Under with sexy Captain Jason that all the women want. He's finally back on our screens. Tuesday, you have Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Real Housewives of New York Reunion Part 2, where we will get to see what the F Bryn says this week. On Wednesday, we have, sadly, the final part of the reunion for Salt Lake City. I am so sad. You also have the Sold on SLC finale. On Thursday, you have Southern Charm and Southern Hospitality. So you have a full week on Bravo. So gird your loins, set your DVRs. But we also have so many other shows out there right now. You have season 27 premiere of The Voice on NBC tonight. You also have the second episode of ABC's The Bachelor. I have not hopped on board yet. There's only so many hours in the day. But Maritza, who I works with, thinks The Bachelor is very sexy. So there's that. And then Tuesday, you got Deal or No Deal Island, episode 5. I love Deal or No Deal Island. I've talked to a couple of the people that have been sent away from the island on So Bad It's Good. I think it's a really, if you love reality competition series, you're loving the Traders, go check out Deal or No Deal Island. You can stream the past episodes on Peacock, but that's on NBC on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, you have a couple new episodes of Pop Culture Jeopardy, which I'm loving, hosted by Colin Jost on Amazon Prime. You also have Celebrity Jeopardy, just normal Jeopardy on ABC that night. And then you also have Special Forces, the reality series on Fox. That's over there on Wednesday. On Thursday, you have the Kardashians season 6 premiere. It's weird. I feel like we usually get more promotion, but yeah, the Kardashians are coming back to your screens, whether you like it or not. We have a new episode of The Traitors on Peacock, episode 7. And then on Friday, we have the Critics' Choice Awards at 8 p.m. on E, hosted by Chelsea Handler. And you also have a new episode of RuPaul's Drag Race in its 17th season. There are so many other great things to watch that I'm probably missing and not throwing in. Oh yeah, you have Scam Goddess over on Freeform, which you can stream on Hulu. That's on Wednesday nights as well. You have The Fall of Diddy. You have a new episode of Scamanda on ABC on Thursday night. And we had Charlie Webster and Nancy Moscatello, who's a part of that series, on the pod this past week as well. So much to watch. And we're not even getting into movies on this. Oh, also Severance, new episode Friday night. Like, that's a lot of TV. Anyways, if you like this show, consider giving it 5 stars on Apple Pods and Spotify. And also, if you're a Patreon member, hello, baddies, come join us, patreon.com/SoBadIt'sGood. We did a Q&A episode, and I did an hour-and-a-half Q&A episode today, and I'm only halfway through it. So I've got to finish part 2 tomorrow, but there's an hour and a half where people just ask me questions about everything: music, movies, reality shows, personal. It's all there. It was so much fun. It's great. So come join us, be a baddie, and that's it. Finally, the one, the only, let's get into your week with her. This is such a fun episode. I had such a blast talking to Sophie on this. Now, I will warn you, I think we talk about the Grammys at first a little bit, and then there's a good 23-minute chunk, maybe even longer, where we do talk about the events that happened with Baldoni Lively over the weekend, because my God, we are like stuck with this story, I guess, for a long time now. So we did talk about it. I know she's on Snarkbait. They're doing an episode about it. And then I'm on Tuesday, I believe, doing a solo episode talking about Baldoni's filed complaint and the amended complaint and a timeline of the events. So if you love Baldoni and Lively, or not love, but if you're interested in the story, come on Tuesday to So Bad It's Good, and I'll walk you through it. If you don't, just skip the episode, listen to another one, or listen to all the other amazing podcasts out there, okay? Have a great Monday. Let's try to have a good week. Let's do it again. And thanks for being here. Here she is, Sophie Ross.